Guys, welcome to my channel. This is my first time streaming. I'm pretty new to everything, so let's get started. Morning. So today morning, I mean it's already afternoon. I want to start with this piece that I've been working on. It's acrylic on canvas, as you can see, and we are going to use layering technique on this. As you can see, I've already done some layers. This is the first layer that is set. Like this is literally the base, and I like to build up. So let's get this started. Okay, just let me get this on the stand, and we will be good to go. Yep. Okay, let's adjust this a bit. Can you guys hear me? I hope I'm audible. Perfect. Okay. So for this, I usually like to use like really thin brushes for this. Um, we're gonna start with zero. Like, and yep, this is like 5 zeros, as you can see. It's like pretty thin, and it's really good to do this kind of outlines. Uh, so we're going to be working with really fine liners today, and like these are called fine liners and point tips. We're gonna start with this violet color first, and then I'm gonna start filling these in. It's pretty fun actually to do just the fill-ups first, as you can see. I'm gonna like just keep a little bit of like white spacing so that I just don't lose my way afterwards. So like these are like small techniques that I have like developed over time, over the 8 years that I have been painting. See, you can see like all small tiny white lines left. I'll chase them. Sometimes I do tend to mess it up, but you can always like never mess up a painting if you know if like the direction you're going on. As you can see, there's a little bit out here left. So right now I'm painting with soft acrylics, like soft pastels, and I like to dip them in a lot of water because as I said in the beginning of the stream, I want to be building it up. So I'm going to be building it up from light to dark and from empty spaces to fill spaces. This kind of process I like to work in. Then it keeps like a lot of room for you, that even if you do make a mistake, you can recover from it pretty quick. Sometimes it takes me pretty long to finish a piece, and sometimes it just flows. And this is like one of those middle pieces, because I have a clear vision of what it's gonna be. But as I keep on painting, you never stop learning, do you? So as I keep painting it, I just feel like adding a bit more and removing some parts so that it looks cohesive. My motive to paint this way is to make a story out of it, you know, so that you have an emotion. When you look at it, you feel something. I guess that's what it means for me when you look at a painting. As you can see that I have used like this orange pencil, which is also a watercolor pencil. If you know, let me show you guys. So these kind of like pencils, they come in this kind of form, which is pretty nice because once you paint over them with water or anything water based, it easily gets dissolved and you don't have those nasty pencil lines. So this, as you can see, I'm going here with this color scheme right now because this kind of evokes like an emotion of these colors, kind of like evoke an emotion of tranquility. There's been a lot of problems everywhere in this world, so I feel a bit of, peace is nice. Yep, that's done. So this is just like the basic. I just do one outline, and since it's acrylic, it dries pretty fast, which is really nice. It gives me a lot of like scope to work on, and it quickens up my time pace, which is really nice. And with modern day innovations and everything, and the way of making paints, it has become like quite a quick process. I know it's an era of digital painting and everything, but this is timeless. Hand painting and handmade is timeless. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of patience, and via this kind of painting, you'll be able to achieve quite photorealistic kind of paintings as well. But that requires a lot of patience, a lot of patience, which even in my 8 years, I find it really hard to master. So I'm gonna start with this on top. As you can see, it's quite watery, but that's not an issue because we're gonna wait for some time. And as you can see, I've made some outlines of small and big petals. As I keep painting, they will start coming out. As you can see, there. So when you kind of like do these kind of 3D or foreground background kind of pieces, always remember to like draw in like pencil beforehand if you are not confident in both ways. Just remember like over the top and underneath it as well as in the foreground, as in the foreground and the background. Just remember where your lines are going, where you want which color to go, and you're good to go. And for me, I find that if I do make such pieces, then I go over bit by bit so that I don't forget where I last stopped and what is it exactly that I want to portray. Sometimes it does get really hard if you leave it for too long to remember, and mistakes are easily done. Mhm. Oh, Alexa, play Japanese flute for an hour. Japanese flute by REM sleep inducing from Spotify. Playing for 1 hour or until end of the song. I kind of like the soothing flute music when I'm doing this kind of painting. It's my personal preference. They are quite peaceful. Oh my god. Ah, what silly mistake, man. I forgot I put up coffee. And I just spilled my milk. But that's fine. My apology, guys. I disappeared for a second there. Okay, so where were we? Once I get into the zone, it's pretty easy to forget that I did something like put milk up on the stove. Like it's that kind of immersive for me. So I'm gonna be drawing another petal like this on top, just to make sure. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and add some like blue to it, a bit to make it dark. Like this tone, as you can see, this tone of violet has been achieved by the same way of layering. So this is kind of like the final product right here. As you can see, it's more defined and more heavy, though we still need to work on it. There is a lot of work. I like to put a lot of details in my work, actually. So yeah, there is a lot of work left. But you guys will get to see how I do that. And I hope I can make this journey fun for you because it's pretty fun for me. It helps me forget about everything in life that it troubles me. For this couple of hours, I'm in a place where nobody can disturb me and nothing can disturb me. As you can see, this tone of color after adding blue, so add like a little bit of it, and you need to add a lot of violet to it. It comes up to be this kind of a violet, a bit deeper, a bit darker. As you can see, the two different shades here that I achieved by adding a bit of blue here. So this is what I'm going to be using to do the foreground of it. These are the petals that are growing small and are in front. See, you can make them out now. Kind of like a similar way to doing watercolors, you might say, but not exactly like that. It's just that I add a lot of water so that it becomes a bit transparent. I can build up on it like you can build up in watercolor, like layer by layer, from light to dark. It's pretty beautiful, this technique, because it actually allows you to build up. And once you do something in this technique, you will see that you're able to add a lot of layers and complexities to it. You can see the two different shades. It's pretty, right? There's one more. Even out here. See, like I told you, the kind of mistakes, I left this kind of a bit for long. So I obviously got it mixed up. And I forgot to leave the white spaces, because of which I have to paint over this area. But you can see this is in a way kind of the first layer. So you can see the difference out here. It's very like light and you can still see like the canvas texture over here. But here it's starting to slowly disappear. Like you don't need to put that many layers, but you need to work very carefully with the layers, how like thick you want it or how transparent you want it. Because if you start like really with say a thick like a base, when you do the first layer, when you started less transparent and you make it very thick, then you obviously will find it very difficult to build up on it, because acrylic kind of clumps and it can start making its own texture, which you might not be able to change it later on, and you might have to change the entire setup. So there you go. As I wait for these to dry up a bit, I'm going to see if I've left any more. And as you can see, there are two more flowers out here. So let's get started with them. Also, be careful not to let too much paint gather over here because it's acrylic, so it dries pretty fast. And if too much gathers on the top of the paintbrush, then you won't be able to get like fine lines and control over the spacings. Just be mindful of that. Unlike other paints, acrylic is quite fast drying. So you gotta keep washing it regularly or dipping it in the water and make sure that the excess is gone. And also be kind of mindful when you are adding water to it because it's canvas. Even if it is acrylic, it's a canvas, not a paper. So it's not gonna soak the way you want it to soak. So you have to be careful with water, otherwise it's gonna glide over like water on butter. These are kind of like a take on chrysanthemum flowers, you know, kind of like the complexity in these flowers. Yet it's so simple. It's just one simple petal in multiple layers, which makes it look so complex and so beautiful. Like, it's amazing. And that is kind of like the technique that I'm doing, layering, multiple layer. Now I'm gonna be going in with the blue. I don't like to like waste too much of paint, so I kind of like doing it in quick successions. As I told you, it dries fast, so even on the plate or the palette, it's gonna be drying really fast. So I take small amounts of it and try to finish as many aspects of the layer that this painting needs with that same color. So that kind of like guides my entire process. As you can see, I have already started with some purple and blues. So after I'm done with the first layer of this and let it like set, I'm going to be using the same blues. I'm going to be starting on this and add some green and start going in with the flowers. So this kind of helps me build up like where I want and how I want my each layer to be.
Home or out and about. Make your music move with you. With Premium, you can download your music at high quality, listen to songs ad free, and play them in any order. Tap the banner to learn more.
Okay. Alexa, skip. My Alexa has some kind of enmity with me, She really hates listening to me. I know, it's not a real thing. But I like to like imagine them as such. Because it's fun, nothing else. It's fun raging on inanimate objects. Yeah. Because you're hurting nobody. And you're safely executing. Using other reports, okay. Alexa, reduce volume by 1. So, this is done. This is another flower that needs my attention. Hmm. One thing I like really about live streaming is that it's actually telling you the actual hours that's going to be going into making this painting. It's quite scary how like people can't understand mostly, you know, how much effort like goes into creating this kind of paintings. And people who do, they really know how to appreciate it. And I swear, it's really worth it. It's worth making this kind of your main thing in life, you know. So as you can see, that I've already like gone in with these big petals first, with the darker color and not the lighter color, is because now I'm also be going to play with the kind of lights and shadows that I'm going to be using on photo. Excuse me, guys. Be right back. আচ্ছা মই ন আজি ৰাতিপুৱাৰ পৰা মোৰ কাম ইয়াতে মই কৰিব লাগিব আৰু মোৰ মানে লাইভত চাম ঠিক আছে ন লাইভ মানে অনলাইনত তো মই 11:30 পৰা আৰম্ভ কৰিছোঁ আহি পেলাই কাম কৰি থকাৰ আগতে নহ'লে নহ'লে মানে 11:30 পৰা 11:30 পৰা 3টা মানে মই কাম কৰিম ইয়াতে আগফালে কৰি থাকিম আৰু মানে অসুবিধা নহ'বলে আৰু Sorry guys for the delay and for that break. People had come to my house. So I had to receive them. So yeah, where were we? So we were talking about why I was using the dark color first here. So I'm going to be doing this dark color first because I want to play with the different kind of light. So I imagine the light to come from here like this. So since it's coming from here, so this kind of part, this side will be dark. So I'm going to be using a bit of a darker shade to build up on from here. So that in the final product you will be able to see the different kind of shades playing through. And in this portion, I want like light to be on the inside part. So I'm gonna go in with the light color here so that I'll remember later on. And I don't build up to dark on this part. Right? Okay. So this part is done. And then again I'm going to be going in with the light colors here. And you can build up like that, some light colors over here because like I said, I want it to be light out here. And then again we're gonna go in dark with this one because this is like a curve out here, so it's gonna be the back side. There you can see, right, the difference. And you can see the difference, right? So these are some of my flower parts that is done now. Okay. Now I'm going to be using some greens to build up on this, and as I said, do not waste the blue because it's kind of like starting to dry. It's cold out here, so yeah, it dries quite fast. So I'm going to be using a bit of olive color here, pale olive color, you can see this thing right here. And then we're going to be using a little bit of aqua green, and the dark blue is automatically going to mix up and create this darker shade. So I had given this, as you can see, this is just one dark shade out here and the rest is light. So this is kind of like an indicator for me as to where the dark layer is gonna go. Since I have a lot of blue, I'm going to be starting with the darker shades first. Oh, the palette looks really pretty. Look at the colors. That's so yummy. Thank you, Pegasus, and welcome to my channel. Please hit that like, follow, and subscribe button if you like what you see. I'll be dividing up each of this like sessions into probably 2-3 hours max. So we're going to be doing it in that span of time, how much ever we can cover. So when you mix like the blue and the green, it really creates this beautiful shade out here, you can see. So I'm going to be starting with that color so that I can go in light. So there are two different kinds of leaf patterns that I have used. One is this kind of circular one, and one is this one, the jagged edged one, if you may. Because this is kind of more like the original kind of leaves that goes in with the chrysanthemum flower. So this painting is kind of a bit of fantasy. So we are not going to be taking the whole exact copy, but we're going to be taking elements from nature and playing with them and turning them into a bit of a fantasy feature. So you can take a lot of inspiration from nature. Like once you see the end result of this, you'll understand what I mean by taking inspiration. Most of the time, I like to take this kind of patterns and build up on them and turn them into something almost unrecognizable. Like you cannot recognize that it's an element that came from plant, yet you will be able to see if you really observe that there is hints and backstory behind the make of this pattern. Okay, for sure I'll do it in landscape mode. Yeah, this is my first stream. Any kind of input would be great. So I'm gonna use this kind of small leaf patterns, the round ones, along with these big ones, so that it gives more dimension to the entire painting. And this kind of small things actually makes up a lot of the dimension of the painting. Too much glue. Okay. So this is going to be going from behind. I kind of like to work around like this because again in the final, in the next layer, I'll be doing an outline. So don't worry too much about messing this up. You cannot mess this up. Just go in slow and slowly paint around the spaces. Many like to do the layers, the bottom layers first, and then this kind of thing. But as I told you before, I'm going to be building up from light to dark. So the areas where I want to play with darker shadows and dark lights, like I said, like this, I start with the darker layer and working around the corner. It's already starting to fill up. So, like I said before, this is the kind of pencil that I like to use or go in with because it dissolves in later. And right now, even between the painting, since it's a watercolor pencil, The color kind of rubs off on the canvas, as you can see. See? So it's pretty nice to just draw and sketch out, like if you want to add more details. And since I'm doing a detailed painting, I don't want to like leave too much space for correcting and going over it. So I like to do an outline beforehand. So that way, like it helps me create darker and lighter spaces easily. As you can see, there is like a bit of empty spaces here. I've already done with this part, but I want to add like a bit of lines here. And I'm just doing a bit of lines so I know like these are kind of like markers, so I know what I'm doing, remembering where I'm going to put in the dark part. So as you can see, there are two different kinds of flowers here, kind of like chrysanthemums and a bit of like roses, or you can call them plush roses that grow here. I really like them, like they're multi-petaled. You won't be able to see them now, like this portion out here, as you can see. I've just drawn some outline to give me an idea, but yeah, this plush petals, it's lovely. So what I wanted to say was, as you can see, there are two different kinds of flowers, two different kinds of leaves. How do I merge them like together so it becomes a bit seamless and does not give too much break to the painting? So as you can see, these are thin stems that I drew in that are going behind her hand only, and I've added like maximum of these petals which have got like versions in them. Later on, you'll see as I add layer, you'll see two different kinds of leaves, but right now it's looking like just one kind of like entire leaf pattern following the same on both sides. So this thing out here is when I put it behind, I'm not spreading it out too much. This stem is also be going in here behind her hand, and I'm going to just end it over here. So like kind of like holding it out here so that it gives like an illusion that it is coming out from here, but also it's because her hand is here, it's covering the two mergings out here, and I'm going to be filling this up with a bit more leaves and light and dark so that it becomes a bit filled up, and there will be empty spaces, but that is for later. But let's go in with the leaves again. See, it's all you can see the names. And so as I keep on working, the space lines and the work will start getting tinier and tinier. Right now I'm filling up, you can say, comparatively larger space. This is the largest space left, but comparison to that, I'm working from here up. So as you can see, these are like big spaces, and I'm working with the tiny spaces. Right now it's starting to get small. That's a pleasant shade. was kind of quite scared to put out my process because I know there are a lot of critics out there who would say a million different things that I'm doing wrong here. But then I realized that, in painting, first of all, there is no wrong process, and it might actually help somebody, or it might just inspire somebody, and that is good enough for me. So as I'm making these two kind of things merge, it's starting to look like a plan that we won't see around here. So automatically, a theme of fantasy is going to start coming in. That's kind of like how I build up on the fantasy storyline. Ah! Okay. This is good. Sorry for the disturbance. So my dog just came and started playing with me. And I'm going to be going in just some olive greens. Alright, okay. If you may, to do the top part. If you make a mistake like this, like accidentally going over the other, then just wipe it quickly. Don't let it like stain. Because one thing I've realized when you do this kind of layering process, it stains, which is pretty nice if you want to work with kind of like a stain effect piece. Alexa, play Japanese flute for 1 hour.
Japanese flute by Yen Shi is the traditional
Okay, just gonna connect this one because it's already the same outcome. Okay, this is fine. We were going to fill this up with this kind of piece, so I'm going to be keeping that empty. Till then, let's fill this up. As you can see, this is again yet another outline. these kind of like leaves, I like to start on the top because then it gives you an idea as to how much you need to cut off. Like in this area, as you can see. Hmm. I like to use like short, quick, successive strokes so that I don't leave too much brush lines out here, especially in the first layer, because then those brush lines are going to be creating textures. So I like to take those small brush strokes. As it is, I'm already using a very thin brush, so this helps me create a more even layer, first layer. I'm just going to be following that line through, and okay, let me make a join out here. This is going to go underneath and join out here. See? Oops. I made it move to the left. I'll go right about here. So I'm going to be filling this portion up with the same kind of leaves, a bit in a darker shade, because like they are in the center of our hands, that will give an illusion that it's clumped up around that area. As you can see, it's too much water out here. Like I told you before, it's gonna be water on butter. See, it's bleeding into the other work. So I have to quickly correct this mistake and soak in as much as I can. And then and leaves in this area. Okay, problem solved. There. Now as you know, this is dark areas. It's like the lower part, so I'm just fill them up. This needs to go a bit more darker, so now I'm just add a bit more blue to this. Voila. See? Again, as I said, it's watery, so you gotta be very careful of how much you put in. Okay, so these areas are done. And this is the reason why I like to work with small brushes, because there are like lots of nooks and crannies in these kind of paintings. And I like to keep taking brushes all the time. It helps me pick up. I know it's quite time consuming, which is not good, but then it's a therapeutic process, so why rush it? Alright, guys? Now I'm going to be mixing some aqua with Parisian blue, and we are going to fill this area up because, as you can see, it's almost like visibly darker than the shade that I was using. It's because I'm going to be using this to fill up the back shade, just this dark areas right now. It's kind of like a marking as to where I want it to bleed out from dark to light. So I'm not going to be covering up the entire space, but I'm going to slowly bleed it out. As you can see, I'm using the green again out here, and I'm going to just merge the two slowly. Be very careful with the amount of water you use here. And as you can see, it's going from a dark shade to a light shade. And because you add water to a small degree, it reacts like watercolor. But since it's acrylic, merging or mixing them is not as easy as it looks. So you gotta do it fast before it dries. Or else, as you can see, the seamless like kind of merge will not happen. Again, I'm going to be going in with the blue. And there again, as you can see, it's filling up. I'm using this to like mark very small nooks and crannies, because then it will like give you an illusion of shadow. But I don't want to go in with the traditional dark and light color shadings, because I really like to play around with the color. So I'm trying to do that with a darker shade of blue and a lighter shade of green. In the past, I've always had amazing results with that, but most of the time it's like in my comfort colors that I practiced a lot, which was usually very bright yellows and reds, like the sunset hues. And recently, I've been starting like to work with cooler tones, because trying to understand them, because it's quite hard to match cool tones. Surprisingly, cool tones has got a lot of blues, and they have a variation of blues. And since blue is a reflection of color, not exactly like a color that you can find it easily, tone that is very hard to work with, it kind of like can get tricky to work with it. Hmm. Alright. As you can see, I'm filling this area up. This I'm looking again on them. These, as you can see, are still what you call them blank space, just in a different background from those. Because you're gonna need to work on this to bring it out. And you kind of need to be careful when you're working with acrylic because they tend to over color, or if it falls on the lighter shade or any other shade actually, or opposite spectrums, it leaves a small, like, color matching difference, and it's quite visible. Like, if you have look at it closely, it's quite visible, so you need to be careful when you're going around them. I let this dry. So as you can see, I let this dry a bit too much. So now my seamless is a bit mismatched. See the difference? This again, I need to do it a bit more darker shade. I'm just gently going to guide these colors between the gaps. Gently push them in so that they don't bleed. Okay. Even if you want to leave a bit of like texture from the canvas, you just make sure that every cranny, as intended, nook and cranny, like the dentures out here, gets filled with the paint. Because if you leave the initial layer empty and build up on it, it tends to create like dotted or hole like texture, which might not complement your painting style or technique that you're using in that point of time. Sometimes when you kind of put paint in on like this and you feel like it's too stark and it might not bleed, just take a little bit of just plain water and look on the brush, and you can create like a gradient with the same color. It's pretty amazing, right? See? And as you end towards the corners again, I'm gonna go in with a bit more darker shade. Just gently push it in, like I said. It's pretty cool, right? Hmm. I don't like to use like black unless and until I'm doing like space and things kind of, which needs the black color to get it on the night scene to create dark spaces. Especially when it's a painting like this, I like to kind of use the color in itself, like the darkest shade. So right now that I really have with me the darkest shade with decoration blue. And if you mix that with a bit of phthalo turquoise, and it kind of gives you a really nice dark Arabian night green, like the Arabian Nights. Okay, this is like the turquoise, yeah, the metallic turquoise color, as you can see, right? And I'm not going to show them brands because I'm not promoting any, and a bit of Persian blue, as you can see, right? This color, Persian blue. All right, I'm just gonna use a tiny amount of it. So this background, as you can see, the reason why I'm putting blue behind it is to try use this as a way of merging with these colors, these leaves. So it kind of merges into it, and this kind of like comes with the foreground, yet merges. So like there is a seamless cohesion over here, like here on this portion. You will notice that later. And so the difference that I'm trying to use and like blue kind of colors out here, leaves out here, and this is more like greens. And that is where I'm going to be merging the two because like they fall in the color spectrum like that, like blues and greens hues. So yeah, I've used like the two most closest colors in hues to create that illusion. So right now I've taken the two colors that I mentioned, Parisian and Cathalo turquoise, not green, turquoise, because there is a Cathalo green. Okay, so I'm going to be using them around this area. As you can see, it's quite dark. Very careful when you paint these portions because you do not want that to overshadow any portion, because otherwise then you have to take it in like swallowing that light area, because nothing you do is gonna remove the stains, like the color that it will leave, and it'll be, and the entire color will change, the entire palette will change. Since I'm working around the fingers, I'm using this color because it's going to be darkest around this area. There's another mistake. And as I try to remove it, it's not gonna go. As you can see, it has stayed. See, even if I remove, no, nada. I'm going to be using that color, this color again. So, from here, like this. And I'm using the darkest on the lower area because I'm looking at the illusion that it's going like dark to light on the top. So very, very careful not with these lines. So can you see that now? The part that I painted before is already looking like this. Cool, right? Hmm. What do you think? How long do you think this was gonna take me to complete? So there you go. It's from that same tone, but since I like kind of pulled it out, it goes from dark to light. And this is what helps me create this illusion around it, that it's a border portion. See, I'm pushing it into this line so that it looks like it's covering this area. And then I'm gonna do the same out here. And since you're using that much water, it's kind of like easier to push it around like this. And voila, you automatically have created a border without actually having to go in with darker colors. Cool, right? Again, this side of it is going to be dark. I'm going to bring it dark out here. Yes. I'm very careful, very mindful. We're gonna play this out. Cool. See, again, as you can see, this white spots, you need to fill it up completely. Because the more white area you leave, the more illusion of light it is, and where it is dark, you do not want to leave it like that light. We work on his hands now, and sometimes before that, I like to go in this. So now the color combination that I'm going to be using is a bit of olive and a little bit of like turquoise, like the dark turquoise, but how turquoise. And I'm going to do leaves out here. Scary. There. Cool, right? This color? It's so amazing to work with this kind of color. It's so cool. Like the tone of it is itself is so cool. It automatically makes you feel like nice, like you're in an ocean or something. Yeah. Use Then here, now we're gonna be using this again another darker shade. And I'm just going to top like this a bit. And it's behind it. So it's gonna be like this. And you can make out now it's on top. One on top of the other. Just bring it out, you can see. Really careful when you do this. Don't need to overrun on the cream. And the cream. Perfecto. I like it. Guys, give an input. Please do give an input if you like it or not. It's the kind of like thing I love doing. I have always tried to pursue it professionally. Now it's quite hard to make a living on this. Trust me. Because where I'm from, it's like, even though there are opportunities, there are lots of limitations. There are lots of limitations. Even if they are not your own limitations, there are limitations that come to you from outside. And you're helpless. You just can't do anything. So as you can see around this area, like in this area, you can see it's overlapping the orange. It's kind of like overlapping the orange here. So I'm going to go in with harder lines. As you can see, the orange below, because it's of two different color, like opposite colors on the color spectrum. So you can see the orange underline here. So I have to go in with another layer of acrylics on top with a darker green so that I can cover that orange line. And that, my dear friend, is the real magic of acrylics. And that is why in the beginning I had said that you should use as like light and plain a texture as possible when you put the initial layer, because you will be painting over it and you don't want it to be clumpy and lumpy and unable to like process it, because then that is going to look like a bit of a raised 3D area and you won't be able to hide around it. And then you have to bring it, if unfortunately it's on a background that you're working, then it starts looking like a foreground and you have to get it in the foreground, which is like, if you don't do it, then it's clearly visible that it's like a mistake. Huh. Just doing it over here. So some of the layers that does not need much working, I'm going to be finishing them off now first. So which means this area, as you can see, it's already pretty filled up. This you can see the corner area. You might be wondering why I'm going all over the painting and just not like going from step by step. Well, as I told you, I've got a lot of paint in that colors. I'm going to be finishing that first. And don't worry, it's not gonna affect the entire, layering process because it will be different. It'll look like different touches different everywhere, which is not the case. If you can keep track of that, for me, it's kind of easy to keep a track of that because it kind of like turned it into my markers. That actually gives me an indication of what color is going to go around it, and I have to work with it. Mhm. When you're doing this kind of areas, you don't want to add too much water. Also, because it's going to destroy the gradient of painting or gradient of the color that you want to bring. Like, for example, if I'm doing this area and if I add too much water, then this dark greenish blue gradient that I'm getting, currently mixing acrylic, it's kind of like its signature textures that acrylics give comes out. But since you are watering it down, it really comes out in a beautiful effect like this. Be right back, guys. Give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna refill my coffee. Till then, you'll see and tell me if you have any input on the process so far. Or if you want to ask me anything, just about it. Huh? What is this? Guys, I'm back. Thanks for waiting for me. Nothing beats a warm coffee while you're painting. I can say warm, at least, because most of the time it is cold because I get too lost while I'm painting. Princess? Well, my dogs are here. My babies are the babies. Hmm. They were busy playing. I guess now they remember that I exist. And they want some attention. Momosh. So we're gonna continue filling out the spaces. Also, if anyone wants to like commission any work, you can message me. It's the kind of artwork I do, and you'll be seeing many more. I hope, hopefully. As you can see, this line is a bit crooked, so we're going right here on this video. Ah, ah, ah. Look at you, princess. Oh my god. Princess. No. No, not painting. Sweetness. You want to sit on my lap while I paint? Mwah. I look at this, yet go ahead. Hmm? Why are you cold? Why are you cold? You play too much outside. Sit. Sit, girl. You don't want it to be too dry when you're doing this kind of corners also, or neither too wet. Otherwise, it kind of leaves gap and you won't get the smooth finish that you are looking for. If you ask me, like, I kind of like paint on intuition. Like, if this, as you can see, this area has got too much dark in it, so I want some light as well because it's getting too dark and it will destroy my illusion. Yes, I'm just gonna go with it and let the light paint out here. As you can see, I'm going to use a bit of thicker paint here just to mark this area of light so that I can go over it later on. Okay, it's starting to get dark. Let's get that lights on. Hold it. Hold this. So, Potmas. Yeah, Potmas. I'm just gonna go in with a bit of light areas around here. Princess inside. Oh, go. Yeah, go. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you can see this area has filled up. It is looking like pretty finished out here. So we're gonna go in with a bit more dark colors and finish this portion as well. I hope I can finish this in a week. Okay. I'm gonna start finishing with the dark areas at the bottom one. I usually like to work with one brush, but as you can see this area, it's very thick, so I'm not gonna go in more with this one. This right now I'm using like a 0, you guys can see, right? And I'm going to be going in with like a 00 or 000 in this area. Like, that's gonna create a world of difference, trust me guys. Otherwise, that finished look that you want in your painting, that won't come. So you can see this area, it's just got a bit of light base and a work around it, but it's gonna get similar. I'm gonna get like a bit of Parisian blue and go ahead and add to our greens. And we're gonna see the difference in a minute. I mean, in a second. Here we go. See? I need to want to gently move that into the top part of the green. So it will create this illusion, and Parisian blue, even though it's a dark blue, when you like work too much water, or even if you don't work water into it, and if you work with the paint, you would quickly realize it's kind of transparent, semi-transparent. Like if you push it out, it creates like a film. So you can work like a lot of gradients with this color, one color. And I'm gonna just leave it like that. We're gonna add a couple of these here as well. gonna get some paint and wash this response because it's accumulating. Okay. Boss, no, not my hands. He likes to keep pulling in my hands. So that I give him some scratches and belly rubs. Princess, no, no, no. And our empty spaces are almost filled. The small ones. Good. Well, at the last time I went to a shop. Mm-hmm. Now, as we gradually go up, we are going to start reducing the intensity of the dark blue and increase like the light colors in it. So I'm adding a bit of aqua green now. This kind of like drastically brings a change. You can see that, right? And you're going to see the difference here. Sorry. I kind of usually like to frame these paintings of like giving a good coating of protection over it with some, like machine cover and like your epoxy kind of paste. Not exactly epoxy, but you get me. Like a varnish, Mm. On top, I usually like to keep them in a very raw kind of wood frame. I don't like to put it like glass on top unless I'm kind of like shipping them out or putting them in galleries. Just like them raw. They kind of look really good like that. Just kind of touch it. And then just slowly add a small leave up here. I have like an idea how much spacing and how I'm gonna use small and big objects, so I keep on like building along the way. You can do the same, or you can have like a pre-planned or like a graph already drawn beforehand, and you can just go along with that. But either way, it should look complete. Like even if it is incomplete, it should be complete. That's kind of hard, but doable. With a lot of practice, definitely doable. As you can see, I'm using a darker blue to just bring out this leaf pattern out here where there was nothing. So this is what I meant when I'm going to be building up on layers. So one of the trick to like not make a painting completely storyless is to decide your main focus points on this. And for me, that way, my focus points are the flowers, the face, and the hand. It's symbolic. And that way, I need to bring the focus on them. So, what I do is one of the small tricks I use is not overcrowding, yet like crowding in the right spaces so that your attention is drawn around that, and the rest of the space that you're going to be filling it up, it's going to give like an ambience around it. Mm. Okay. Next on this bunch. Sometimes I do end up debating if this would look good or that would look good. Because honestly, with this painting, I'm really set on giving this green, blue, cool tone hues. Ugh, I love using black, in the sense that giving like a background or a fast space, because it just gives you this illusion of depth and space. Like for example, this painting or that I painted on. Like you can see this, and I did it in black, and then I like built up on the spaces with these colors, right? So I really love, like, this is one of the styles that I just can't let go. It's so, it gives you like you know a very good like mystery. It adds like a lot of mystery to the painting and a lot of depth, I feel. It's very satisfying, for me to fill the small spaces. Pretty satisfying. Uh, okay, crazy. My AirPods just suddenly got disconnected. Ports got disconnected suddenly. I guess I want to charge this. One second, guys. Hello, my testing. You hear me? I'm back. Oh, sun is setting slowly. Mm. It's 4, almost about to be 4. It's winter time here, so it kind of gets dark around 5, 4:35 p.m. The summers are coming, and I hate them. Absolutely hate them. Because it's very humid out here, like super fucking humid. So I get so sweaty. And recently with this global warming shit and everything, it's really getting hot. And where like winters used to last for like a couple to 3 months, this time and a couple of times from last year, not more than a month or two, which is very surprising, but very alarming. Okay, so as you can see, the stems are out here, and you cannot make much sense around this area, but don't worry, because this area will get dark again. You just lay this around this area, alright? And we're gonna work in that area slowly once we finish like the outside portion, because that's gonna give us an idea about how dark we can take this center portion. Because like we painted this area, right? So like it's gonna be like this, and it's gonna go from blue green to like dark to light, or maybe just black. What do you guys think? Should I put black or should I use like blue green? Uh, I'm thinking more like blue green. Oh, good thanks. Ah, mm, no, not on the carpet. Mm, what? কি লাগে তো? হ্যাঁ, I'm gonna put it there, gonna put on this area. This calls for thinner brushes. Want to go on in that area? Yeah. And now we're gonna slide it through because I've already know color. So we're gonna use the water as a trick to gently pull and create a gradient again. Look at that. Cool, right? How do you like that? Nice. Um, and then you push it to the sides. Okay, right? And just uh, okay. And this here, so I'll put that more darker. And the rest. Okay. Finish it. So now with the remaining blues and greens that I have, I'm also going to like just add some more details to the hand. For this one, just filling up the colors. Because I kind of left too much of white space out here and forgot to do the background. First, I'm gonna go in with the light green again. Get this green paint, which I showed you in the first. Like, it's got soft acrylic for a reason. Like, you don't even have to add much water to it. It just gives you this amazing clean texture that you can really play around with. See? You don't have to add much water. It's the first time streaming, so seeing it on camera. And process is quite fascinating. Seeing the whole thing like come to life from a third person's point of view, like, looking at it on another screen. It's crazy. Just hope my end result is quite as crazy. Hopefully. And guys, if you like the content, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button. That would be a great big help to me. Hmm. Okay. Mm. I'm better draw this so that I idea is to like how I'm gonna spread out the small leaves out here because I like don't want to add too much of it as well. Oh, princess! Oh my goodness! Mother baby, my baby. Oh. Please let me work. Mm. Play too rough. Okay. So this is going over here. And here. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is done. Uh, I kind of like making it a bit of animated kind of style and a bit of abstract. I don't like it to bring too much aspects of it into realism. There's like that kind of like breaks for me the hazy abstract effect of it. I know it's quite like detailed and it's not like abstract, but like kind of like the abstract meaning, which like you can interpret it in different ways under a certain label. Let me say, okay, I have given the white ones. Time to put in some dark ones as well. Again, I'm gonna be mixing some liquid. Ah, yeah. Sit, sit. Oh, God. Jesus. She really loves the attention. My only female dog. Okay, so with that outline, we're gonna add these from the top like this. Mm-hmm. So now, like after doing this, I'm gonna be using this area, this blank area, to first do the first layer of mixing, gradient mixing, I decided like I think I'm gonna go with the no, I decided not think I decided to go with the blue and green gradient behind. I'm really bent on doing it a bit different than I usually do and imply not imply actually sorry apply almost the techniques that I've learned over the years, and I really want to develop this technique of my own. And hopefully I can. I kind of haven't seen it anywhere. Kind of like I've seen it like in you can call it like a multimedia, mixed media kind of art, but not exactly. Like I want to use the same paint bases, but using different textures and different brushes, like texture brushes only. Like I want to create a very different, like mixed media kind of art. Like I want to use the same acrylic medium or like watercolor or like oils or whatever medium, but in one medium, and then like create things which is a bit realistic or a bit fantasy, like and try to put them in like one picture to create one cohesive artwork. Not like that does not make sense. Most definitely. Just gonna finish this portion of this bit. It'll give me a clear idea on how much layers and work I have to put. The only thing I'm sure about, like what the image is about, the rest of it, the layering and everything, is a process. I don't predetermine that. I look at it, and as I paint it, I kind of like pre-imagine or start imagining like how many layers it would go to create like a depth, and how many would be too much or how many would be too less. And based on that, I kind of like just go with it, like kind of like a go with the flow situation. Alright, guys, we are down to our last hour of streaming, and my goal is to be able to finish this at least the gradient from here to here today, so that tomorrow we can start with the face and with the top part. So let's get this started, and also like after that we are going to get into detail layering to give details, right? That would bring the two, like I said, you know, my kind of style alive. Pray that it works. Because most of the time I have not been able to do it. It's pretty hard. Either it becomes too fantasy, like guys, I'd show you like 1 minute. Like for example, like if I'm trying to merge elements, and this is from one of my Fantasyland series, as you can see that this is one of the paintings. So here I have like used this two layerings. This is like water mixed. As you can see, I really love working in this palette. This used to be the palette I used to work before, and this is the kind of work I like can output with this kind of colors. Like I really love how the sun came out, like the sun on the palette behind it, and I really love working with these colors, as you can see. But man, bringing this kind of thing alive out here, it's so hard. So yeah, it became a bit more fancy, but I'm happy with it. I'm definitely happy with it. But like it's really hard to marry the two concepts. If I don't have like a clear vision of like what the end result is supposed to look like, it's really hard. That's why I kind of like think how the end result and effects is going to be, and then I build upon it. Therefore, my choice of layering technique, just because of this. Trust me, guys. It makes it 10,000 times easier. Like over the years, this is like one of the tricks that I have discovered that actually helps. It really helps. Okay. We'll go in with the final ones here. Let's just fill this portion up. Oh, the green and blue is so pretty. Makes me almost want to eat something at this point. Like sweet, you see, water. I like water, like you don't juice. Lots of juices. Like fresh, it makes you so refreshing. It makes you so fresh, you know? That kind of color. Yep, it's one of my favorite colors. So this color, what I'm putting out here, is because this has like decided how much darker this is gonna get. So yeah, it's gonna get pretty dark. This portion, this area. Oh my god, it's not even like 4:30, and it's already started getting so dark. You can see that, right? Let me just switch on additional lights. Right? I just slowly want to start making it a bit lighter as we go towards the top. So it's like a long painting. We are going to do like up until here a bit dark and then start grading from here and then go like totally light on the top. Like this to here, it starts like it starts to gradient over here. Like it has to, otherwise it wouldn't look uniform. And if the painting has a graph that decides it, so my graph is as such that my focal point is here and it's gonna branch out everywhere. So the gradient needs to happen at the focal point. So that way you'll be able to maintain the uniformity of the paint. Okay. It's quite a beautiful sunset today. That's making me want to paint a lot more as well. Oh, it's hard. But I guess being winter, it helps painting in cool colors for me because like it makes me want to explore the cool tones of blues and greens and grays. Princess, no! we are going to do a series of this kind of paintings because really my goal is to create this series of my own based on my own technique. Obviously, it's like a mix and an influence of a lot of other that I've experimented over the years. Okay, so now it's slowly coming out like the fingers. You can see it on my after I pop this portion. So I'll attempt to make this area really dark. Okay. Oh, I didn't hear on the surface. Nice. So you can see that it's going to start to come up slowly, slowly. We're just gonna get some of the gradients here so that it kind of gives like a depth to the entire painting. Chunks of it. So that after you are done noticing the actual center portion, you will start to notice the smallest pockets all around the painting in bursts, obviously not in succession, because otherwise that will actually take a lot away from the painting, and you don't want to do that. Because then the meaning of your painting might just get lost in all the translation. Like there are extremely detailed paintings around the world, But if you actually notice them, you're gonna see that always there are areas of focus and others there are areas of like continuity. Like for example, when you do like a detailed piece, there is like lots of details, small details everywhere. But then there is a uniform detailing pattern going that creates like a background, and then on top of that, they use different kinds of patterns to create a foreground. So, in totality, it really looks like a complete picture because it's got this one kind of pattern in areas and concentrated areas that creates an image in itself, and then you've got like the larger patterns or like larger area covered with small patterns, which creates like a background of the area. So guys, always try to like find your focus point and then paint. It's like one of the most crucial lessons I learned. Ah, the electricity just went away and it's starting to get dark. Hopefully it comes fast. So then let's just finish up. As you can see, this color is starting to create certain brush strokes. So I'm gonna just push them towards the corner so it creates this kind of gradient. So this side is gonna be darker. So I'm gonna finish up this first and then start with the light colors on the other side.